Okay, the final project you're going to do in Intro to Theater is write a manifesto. You may remember from the theater history discussions, there was a point in history when there were a lot of manifestos about this is theater needs to do this, it needs to be this, whatever. Well, you're going to write one. So, a manifesto is defined as a public declaration of intentions, opinions, objectives, or motives. That's what it is. What are you going to do? You're going to write a manifesto describing what the theater as an institution must do in order to regain its position as the most socially, politically, personally, artistically influential dramatic medium. That seems like a whole lot. Um, Basically, what must theater do in order to remain relevant? Assuming it is, which I think it is. Consider what it currently does and it is successful at, and what does it need to do more of, do less of. Be very specific with this. Now, this does not, I probably didn't include anything here, but it's not an essay. This is very short, so we'll look at the guidelines in a minute. Now, extremely important, the most important part of the description of this assignment. Your job is to describe one specific course of action. I frequently get lists of things, like 10 things that will make theater better. That is not at all what I want. I want to see that you have taken in all the content about what theater can do, what it has done, and think about the world today and how theater can become more relevant and what is the one thing it should do. Yeah, there probably are many things that you could come up with, but what is the most important one? Your selection of the important one is the most important part of this little assignment. So just looking specifically, your task is to prescribe one specific course of action for theater practitioners to take. What specifically is the most important thing that theater practitioners must do? What do we have to do to stay relevant, to become relevant? The more specific it is, the better. Don't be afraid that, oh, this one tiny little thing. Think of things that we can do that are going to make big differences. Do not submit a list of ideas. This manifesto should be one coherent argument for doing things. You gotta love to time delay in Google Docs. So here are the guidelines. It is only 300 to 400 words. That is not a lot of time. Another exercise in business writing. People don't read stuff these days, so give us very important words. Just because it's short doesn't mean it's not awesome. This is an important part of the assignment. So write it, just say everything you want to say, and then edit it down, taking out all the fluff, honing in on exactly what it is you want us to do, and telling us how to do it. Include a word count. It's part of the assignment. There is a rubric with this that you have access to, so look at it before you write it so you know exactly how it's being graded. Some other specifics. Let me reinforce that this does not have to be formatted like an essay. It's probably just a paragraph. Manifesto must contain at least 5 esoteric vocabulary words, words understood by or meant for only the select few who have specific knowledge. You now have specific knowledge. If it's a word that you knew before class, that shouldn't be one of the words that you use. You're going to use all kind of words, but I need 5 good juicy ones. I used to require 10, so 5 is, that's why I just know they're going to be the best words possible. The vocabulary word should express your understanding of theater as an art form, as opposed to just knowing facts. You're really understanding how theater works, and you're not just arbitrarily throwing in words to cover a requirement. Vocabulary should express concepts and complex ideas for what theater is. For example, acting, directing, and structure are not good words. You're going to use them probably, but they're not going to be your 5 keywords. When you use these words, put them in bold and in caps so I know that they're the words that you use. Do not use the word verisimilitude. It is often used because it's a catchy word. Oh, I'm going to use this big word that I didn't know, and it's going to be this and that. No. Every time someone uses the word verisimilitude, they're simply using it to fulfill the requirement of using a vocabulary word from class. And to be honest, it's just a pet peeve of mine. Do not use that word. The purpose of the manifesto is to express your knowledge and personal opinions that are very valid now because you know a lot about the theater, and what is possible for the future of theater as informed by the course content. as informed by course content is obviously a very important part of this. So please paste the manifesto into the text box or attach a Word or a PDF file. Do not send me a link. Literally half the time I cannot open a link because the student that submitted it did not turn on the settings so that I could see it. And it's too late in the term for me to try to contact you, especially if you don't check your email twice a day, to say, hey, I can't open this, so therefore I can't grade it, therefore I have no time to give you a grade. Paste it into the text box is the best way. There's not funky formatting, works just fine. Please look at the rubric. The definitions from this description come from dictionaryreference.com. Lay policy, since it's due the last week of class, there's not a lot of time. So it is due on the date it's due. If you get it in after that due date, but before the drop dead date, there's just a 10% deduction. So get them in on time, and I look forward to reading them. Please ask questions if you have any. A lot of students, I just want to add that a lot of students ask for an example of this. I really feel that giving you an example is pandering, and it leads to replication. I promise you, whatever your idea is going to be right, it's going to be good and valid. As long as you follow these guidelines, you cannot do this wrong. One of the goals for this class is to problem solve, take risks, risk failure, come up with solutions. And the way that I grade that outcome is through this assignment alone. Through the assessment process of this course, I look at this and come up with ideas of how have I communicated the possibility of overcoming the fear of failure and solving problems as informed by past practice. So that's what this assignment is. I'm just not going to give you an example. I promise you that if you just jump in both feet forward and you follow the guidelines, you're going to make a good grade, especially if you turn it in on time. But do please ask questions if you have them, by all means. Bye.